Italian journalist dismissed accusations of TPLF lies. And the Pan-Africans comments, AU must speak with one voice. Good morning, you're watching Addis News Hour. I'm Zort Desaling with the news. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned. Ethiopian Ambassador to the U.S. Sleshi Bekele met with the U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Michael Hammer. The two exchanged views on current developments in Ethiopia, such as humanitarian aid to conflict and drought-affected areas in various parts of Ethiopia. The two officials also discussed national dialogue, the AU-led peace process, and recent updates regarding the trilateral negotiations over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Also on the agenda was Ethiopia's exclusion from AGOA and the possibility of reinstatement, as well as the still pending punitive bills of H.R. 6600 and S. 3199. Special Envoy Hammer expressed his appreciation for the tremendous improvements demonstrated by the Ethiopian government in facilitating timely and unfettered humanitarian flow. A seasoned Italian journalist dismissed accusations by the TPLF that the Ethiopian government is blocking and weaponizing aid to Tigray, saying that the white lie of the TPLF is far-fetched and meant to undermine hopes of a negotiated settlement. Francesca Rancin, an independent Italian journalist, shared her reaction after visiting war-affected Amhara and Afar regional states. Tigusar Nisa brings us up to speed. Take a look.
An independent journalist from Italian media with a focus on migration, Francesca Roncini, told ETV that the TPLF left the two states devastated, saying that 90% of emergency humanitarian assistance has been sent to Tigray regional states by aid organizations. Roncini went on to indicate that the only remainder 10% of emergency assistance has been sent to Amhara and Afar regional states combined. Roncini further shared her saddest moments while paying her visit to these two states.
Talking about the sad thing, I can think of these child soldiers that I have the chance to meet in this hospital, which is in Dupti area, which is very close to Semera. I met some girls and some boys, very young of course, and it was really appealing to see in what condition they are and how they've been brought to war by force. So their story was really touching, and so they explained all the system, the way they were being forced to fight. Every family had at least to provide one soldier, to TPLF, and so that was really, really sad to observe. And then others, talking about the sad things, of course, as you asked, I also had the chance to meet some raped women in Amhara region, because of course, as we know, as it has been reported by many organizations and also by the Ethiopian government, especially also the Joint Commission on Human Rights there, many women have been systematically raped, and so also their story were really, really touching.
The journalist underscored that the TPLF is still caught up in a blame game, coming up with the vicious lie that aid blockade and weaponization of aid by Ethiopian government has undermined the process. This, she said, is far removed from the reality on the ground.
When I was in Semera to see the UN aid compound, the humanitarian aid compound, because I wanted to see how this aid flow is working actually, and I had the chance also to speak with some of the World Food Program officials, and they also told me that I asked them, so I mean, out of curiosity, after 1 year and a half, we heard about this blockade being put on by the government. Was the blockade there or not? And they told me, oh no, I mean, there was no blockade by the government. Of course, there were some problems on the ground, maybe because the rebels were, especially from last December to April, when the TPLF invaded the Mara region, the Afara region, so there were all the fighting. So, of course, they had the trucks found difficulties in getting there, but there was no blockade at all. And actually now I had the chance to see a lot of trucks going to Tigray. I think that every week there are 3 convoys normally going, and that's been going on for months so far. So.
She finally made it clear that the peace alternative is viable, adding that she found Addis Ababa in sharp contrast to how Western media narratives wanted to depict it.
State Minister for Foreign Affairs Tesfaye Yilma received Japanese Ambassador to Ethiopia Ito Takako at his office. The two have exchanged views on how to further enhance bilateral ties. Investment in trade cooperation, humanitarian assistance, and several areas of partnership are among the top agendas tabled for discussion. Ambassador Takako indicated Japan has so far delivered humanitarian assistance worth $23 million to vulnerable segments of communities in Ethiopia. The world-renowned athlete Haile Gebrselassie stated that he is committed to reforesting a stripped mountain by covering the entire cost. Talking to the Ethiopian news agency, Haile also called on the private sector and investors to get involved in forestry development initiatives. For more on that, here is Kasaun Janni. Take a look.
In Ethiopia, since 2011, a Green Legacy program has been designed targeting to plant 20 billion saplings in 4 years. And this program, men, women, big and small, all Ethiopians are participating in planting native and edible fruit seedlings across the nation. In an exclusive interview with the Ethiopian news agency, Haile said that the seedling planting underway throughout the country is remarkable. For this, he took as a demonstration that the places where he built the hotels are beautiful, with green plants that could be mentioned as a showcase.
ዳንዴ እየወጣሁ ከሌሎች ጋር አብሮ በመታጀብ ተክላለሁ ግን እኔ ፋሽኔ በዚህ አጋጣሚ መንግስት የሚችል ከሆነ አንድ ተራራ ቢሰጠኝ እያልኩ ነው
I take part in the national planting schemes at various times like any other ordinary Ethiopians. Apart from that, if the government is willing to grant me an eroded mountainous land, I have a great desire to reforest a barren mountain by covering the entire cost whatsoever its expenses. I have always dreamed of that. Some European countries are paying the price due to natural forest depletion.
In a similar development, a Green Legacy sapling initiative has been undertaken in which various refugees participated in Benshangul Gumuz region state.
This area will look green and we need this one.
I am a refugee residing here and I came here to participate in the Green Legacy initiative. I am happy because the Green Legacy initiative is very important for every human being and plays a positive role for the whole region to confront successive drought and wide-ranging desertification.
It is to be recalled that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed called for the Green Legacy initiative to be widely participated by every Ethiopian, especially investors, apart from the government.
The Ministry of Industry, Melaku Alabil, participated in the 17th annual CII Exim Bank conclave on India-Africa growth partnership, which kicks off the previous day in New Delhi, India. Speaking on the occasion, the minister noted the Indian investments having substantial presence in Ethiopia that account for $5 billion, of which $3 billion is estimated to be on the ground. He said some 650 Indian companies are in the top 3 foreign investors in Ethiopia, which is the second largest foreign employers in Ethiopia, employing more than 75,000 people. The CII Exim Bank Conclave on India-Africa Partnership is an annual event organized by Confederation of Indian Industries, CII, and Exim Bank of India, aiming of building cross-border partnership and advance economic relations between Africa and India. It was about 20 years ago that the continental body African Union came into being, replacing its precursor, the Organization of African Unity, OAU. Established in 2002 with 53 African nations as members, the AU became the successor to the Organization of African Unity, OAU. The OAU concentrated its efforts primarily on decolonization and the establishment of diplomatic relations between members, while the AU prioritizes economic development and the entrenchment of lasting peace. A scholar told ETV that the AU's role in mediating conflict between member states and fostering unity remains its primary weakness. Johannes van Town has the following report. Take a look.
Let us all unite and celebrate together. This year marks 20 years since the African Union's founding in 2002, when it succeeded its predecessor, the Organization for African Unity, which had been established in 1963. Since then, the continent has experienced rapid economic growth and developed normative frameworks on development, peace and security, and governance. However, the continent is yet to fully consolidate the success of recent years and address persistent economic, governance, and societal challenges. During its 50 years of service, the OAU had various structural problems. It has yet to meet the current needs of Africa. The AU was re-established by changing its name and structure.
They have tried their best, but I don't see something, kind of radical change which brings the people of the continent to the better life. Because the people of Africa right now, they're living in poverty. That's the serious problem. So I don't think that they did all their best to bring, to lift up this continent to the better place.
As a union of the world's second largest and second most populous continents, the AU is expected to work with the principle of Pan-Africanism, according to the expert.
When you go to African Union, I can say that when you go to there, it's not that much open for you. These Pan-African users and Pan-African societies around the globe, they are trying their best by their own. even they don't have the kind of grant or something to continue their project. They do by their own. They collect some money from here and there, and then they do susus and then do something with that, what is expected from the diaspora community, and then what is expected from African descendants, and then do something better for the African nation. So they're trying by themselves, but still it's very important. African Union needs to work with the diaspora community, and then who are working here, the African youths here in African continent.
The AU's role in mediating conflict between member states and fostering unity remains its primary weaknesses. Even after 20 years of its existence as a recognized institution, the continental bloc has utterly failed to deal with unconstitutional change of governments, instabilities, drought, and other man-made and natural disasters. Sudan, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and Mali are currently suspended from the African Union for military coups, causing many commentators to remark that Africa is stepping back to the 70s when such actions were the order of the day. Demands continue to grow, prompting expectation to accomplish more for the continent in the coming years.
And as a new generation of African, I feel like I just want to see my people not starved anymore. I don't want to see poverty here in Ethiopia and then in the continent at large. And I don't want to see different scarcities here and there. People are begging here, and I don't want to see that. So we want to see some kind of changed Africa, changed countries in the continent as well. So we don't want to be pushed by the Westerners. I don't want to be. So I need, at the same time, I need to enjoy democracy, the democracy that they enjoy in the Europe. So and then also I want to have some kind of peaceful life in here, suitable life in here, very stable environment in here. So these are very important things that the AU should do.
While turning 20, the AU must speak with one voice, work towards greater accountability by member states, and deal with the problematic issues of external funds.
The Ethiopian Embassy hosted a trade and investment forum jointly organized with Indian Chamber of International Business on July 20th, 2022 at the embassy. Malaku Alabel, Minister of Industry of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, and Tizita Mulugita, Ambassador of Ethiopia to India, delivered their messages to the invited guests. The forum was aimed at addressing the business and investment opportunities available in Ethiopia, as well as briefing the Ethiopian government's foreign investment policies and incentive packages to Indian international investors and business community. Malaku made an elaborated presentation of the Ethiopian government's remarkable economic and investment reforms, as well as the special investment incentive packages that are attractive and preferable to foreign investors wishing to invest in Ethiopia. The state telecom provider Ethio Telecom and the Addis Ababa City Administration's Revenue Office the previous day inked agreement to the Telebir application for tax payment. The newly designed system is meant to enable taxpayers to easily pay their annual income tax. CEO of Ethio Telecom and the Revenue Office had together observed the launching of the system. Goshu Meliso tells us more. Take a look.
The digital system makes life easier. Ethiopia is striving to digitize its economy. The Addis Ababa City Administration said paying tax via Telebir saves a lot of time and energy.
The Telebir system is a God-given opportunity for me to settle payments on time. The newly emerging Telebir digital payment system is easy, fast. The system has to be implemented to the lower level of the community.
The digital payment system is easy for customers to access anywhere and pay their tax.
You can make the payment even without internet connection. All taxpayers need to do is turn on the app *127#, enter PIN number and fill the amount of tax. It's as simple as that and payment will be made.
Visiting the implementation of Telebr payment system, the Addis Ababa City Administration Revenues Bureau said the system contributed a lot to customers to save time and energy.
It is easy to speak, but the implementation of the system secured a lot of time and money. There were long queues, and we used to engage more staff in that endeavor. Also, the old manual system resulted in the entrenchment of mistrust between the taxpayers and us. The new system has helped us overcome all these challenges.
CEO of Ethio Telecom Tamru said the digital system will be replicated in other government institutions to realize digital Ethiopia.
Digital Ethiopian own የምናደርገው በአንድ ተቋም በአንድ ግለሰብ በጥቂት አመራሮች ብቻ አይደለም.
We all have to play our fair share to realize digital Ethiopia in all sectors. The system will be installed in several other sectors as well.
ተጠቀምበት የቀረበልን ደግሞ በመጠቀም ጭምር ዲጂታል ኢትዮጵያን ኦን ማድረግ ይኖርብናል.